So this is problem 1.6.5, and we want to differentiate y equals x over 3 minus 3 over x. Or if you're looking at your screen, it'll say also underneath it says, okay, well, what is d over dx of x minus 3 over 3 minus x? So first of all, when you see this d over dx, remember that's just our symbol that says take the derivative of whatever comes next. Okay. But first, let's go ahead and rewrite a few of these things. Now, as you get better at taking derivatives, you won't have to rewrite them every time. But let's just do a few things. So like this x over 3, I could rewrite that as 1/3 times x. And now, because the only thing you really know how to do is work with the power rule, let's say, okay, well this is x and I don't see a power on it. If you don't see the power, it's just x to the power of 1, right? Because anything to the power of 1 is itself. So x can become x to the power of 1 minus 3 times, now this x in the denominator, that means you actually have a negative exponent. And in fact, that would be x to the power of -1. Okay, now we've rewritten everything. We pulled out our numbers so they just look like coefficients. We put powers on all of our x's. This makes it a lot easier to take the derivative. Okay, so now y prime, okay, you can use that notation, or we could do the d over dx, but I'm going to write y prime here. As you go through, you say, okay, 1/3 times x. The 1/3 is a coefficient, and it just stays there. Okay, now x to the power of 1. When you take the derivative, use the power rule, and let's write this up here. If you take the derivative of x to the power of r, what you do is you drop the power by 1, you bring down your power first, and then you drop the power by 1, or you minus 1 from your power. So this 1 is going to come down. Then we're going to have x, and we're going to take away 1 from the power. So 1 minus 1 is 0. Okay, now minus, the minus stays there. When you do derivatives, you can just take the derivative of each part separately. Okay, when you have an add or plus, you just do each part separately. Sorry, an add or subtract. So we did this piece first. Now we'll do this piece. Okay, so we'll do minus. The 3 stays there. Okay, now we have an x. Let's bring down the power. So that -1 comes down to multiply the x. Then we have x, and you take this -1 and you subtract 1, or you drop the power by 1. So we get to -2. So again, the -3 stayed there. We brought down our power of -1, it now multiplies in there, and we dropped our power by 1. So let's simplify this. So x to the power of 0 is just 1, so that's basically gone, so we just have 1/3. Okay, minus 3 times -1 is going to be plus 3. And x to the -2, I would rewrite that as 3 over x squared. And so again, that's my final answer. And I wrote that with a y prime. If you prefer, you could go back to our original problem and say, well, I took the derivative of 1/3, or x over 3, I guess. It was x over 3, minus 3 over x. And when I took that derivative, it became 1/3 plus 3 over x squared. Either way, that would be just fine.